Hi, I'm Ross Benjamin reporting for the Offshore Gaming Association. That's OSGA.com, your number one source for information on the offshore sportsbook industry. That's OSGA.com. It's time for another edition of my NFL Underdog picks. All three games go on Sunday, November 11th, and each one of those contests kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Please keep in mind I'm currently recording on Thursday, November the 8th, so these lines are subject to change depending on when you view this video. Let's get right to these games. Let's start with the game Atlanta at Cleveland, 1 o'clock, like I alluded to. Currently, Cleveland is a 6-point underdog at home, and that's according to bookmakers. So let's get into specifics here. This is an Atlanta team coming off an impressive 38-14 win as a road underdog at Washington last week. That was a Washington team who went into that contest on a high with a 5-2 record, and Atlanta not only knocked them off, it's not so much they surprised me by knocking them off, it's the manner in which they did so by a 24-point margin. However, keep this in mind. This is an Atlanta Falcons team that's gone 0-6 against the spread on the road when they're facing opponents that have a win percentage of 625 or less, and Cleveland certainly falls into that category with their present record of 2-6-1. Now, speaking of that 2-6-1 record, it very easily could be a lot better for Cleveland this year, if not for the fact one of those close games would have gone their way, or many of those close games for that fact. Cleveland lost 3 games this season by exactly 3 points. And the 3 other losses in which they were non-competitive, they faced the Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the LA Chargers in those games. Those 3 teams combined are right now 19-5-1 straight up. So it's not like they have bad losses against bad teams. This is a team that when they face teams that are not in the upper echelon has been very competitive in those situations. And this Atlanta Falcons team right now, I wouldn't put that team in that category considering they're just 4-4 and they've had their struggles defensively this year. Also, I don't give out a lot of NFL betting angles on the show here, but I'm going to do so this time. And if you could follow along, you might want to write this down for future reference as well. Anytime you get an NFL home team playing in the regular season and they're playing after game 3 of their season, and this team also has a win percentage of 250 or greater, like Cleveland currently has a win percentage of 250, and they're facing an opponent like Atlanta that's coming off a straight up underdog win by 21 points or more. Remember, Atlanta won the last game against Washington 38-14. Those home teams in this exact situation, 30-5 straight up. That's an 833 win percentage, and that's been since 2005. So if you consider the fact the Browns are a home underdog in this situation, and this NFL betting angle favors them heavily to win straight up, I like the Cleveland Browns here, plus the 6 at home against Atlanta. I think that's a good betting value in this situation. Next game, the red-hot New Orleans Saints, who will travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The Bengals currently are a 6-point underdog at home, and that's according to Bovada. This is a New Orleans team that's coming off a huge win last week at home against the LA Rams, the then undefeated LA Rams. And after they face Cincinnati, on Sunday, they'll be hosting the defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. So can you say a sandwich spot here? I can. It looks like a potential flat spot for a red-hot New Orleans team. This is also a Cincinnati team. Yes, they'll be without, I should say, A.J. Green, their star number 1 receiver, who will be out indefinitely with a foot injury. However, the Bengals are coming off a bye week. They've had plenty of time to prepare for this situation. And Cincinnati, since 11-11 of 2012, has gone 8-1 against the spread and 7-2 straight up as a home underdog of 2.5 points or more. And during those 9 contests, if they were facing a non-division opponent, like they will be on Sunday against New Orleans, they improved to 5-0 straight up in ATS in those particular games within that point spread parameter of being a home underdog of 2.5 or more. So they've been very good in this situation under Marvin Lewis. This is another situation we could look at for an NFL betting angle. Since 1985, any NFL home team that's coming off a home win by 23 points or less, a win that should be, not a home win, a win by 23 points or less. Cincinnati, in their last game before the bye, was a 37-34 home winner against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they're facing an opponent coming off a home dog straight up win in which they scored 17 points or more. The New Orleans Saints coming off a 45-35 win as a 2-point home underdog against the Rams. And that opponent also has a better than 500 win percentage winning record, if you will, which the Saints definitely do. They come in here on a 7-game win streak. Those teams, those home teams, I should say, have gone 31-1 straight up since 1985. 31-1 straight up since 85. This backs the Cincinnati Bengals in this situation. And remember, those straight up numbers, or straight up results, I should say, take on added significance since they back the team who's the underdog, not only the home team, but the home underdog in this situation. Plenty of betting value here. I think Cincinnati will give New Orleans all they can handle on Sunday afternoon. We'll take the points. The Cincinnati Bengals +6 over New Orleans. Finally, the NFC North battle between the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field in Chicago. Detroit currently is a 7-point road underdog according to 5 Dimes. I'm going to make this real simple and to the point. The Chicago Bears are 0-10 in their last 10 division games. The Detroit Lions, despite last week's loss to the Minnesota Vikings, have gone 9-3 in their last 12 division games. Since 2013, the Detroit Lions have beaten Chicago in 9 of their 10 matchups. And then also, Chicago's coming off back-to-back wins against the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. And this is a Bears team that's gone 1-8 straight up in their last 9 games after winning each of their previous 2 contests. Detroit, on the other hand, is coming off back-to-back losses against Seattle and Minnesota, and the Lions are 3-0 straight up in ATS in their last 3 games when coming off back-to-back losses. So this all adds up to some pretty good value with the Detroit Lions as a road underdog. I think Chicago will probably eke this game out, but I like the points here. I'm going to take the Lions +7 on the road at Chicago. Repeating again, the Cleveland Browns +6 over the Atlanta Falcons. The Cincinnati Bengals +6 against the New Orleans Saints. And the Detroit Lions +7 at Chicago. My name is Ross Benjamin. You can visit my website, rbwins.com, where you can find all the games I personally wager on myself. You pay a little to make a lot. That's rbwins.com. You can also call me direct, 781-571-0299. I employ no salespeople. You talk to me and me only. That's 781-571-0299. Once again, the web URL is rbwins.com. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks.